Chris, what's good?
Benda was the word.
And we is here today, man. I know it's been rough trying to get with you.
I was trying to get people. We may have to do something again because I know they want to do it. They just schedules just ain't been lining up. You feel me?
But I got a special guest coming through today that you might know.
Okay,
Nigga. Oh shit. Yeah. Part 5 of the documentary, man. It was crazy, like you said, man. It was everything and more than expected. And it kind of had a resolve, and you just got to see the evolution. And it's like, really, we all in suspense because we still need to know what's coming next.
I already know, man. It's crazy.
The first thing that I want to talk about with part 5, and shout out to my family on Clubhouse. I got Clubhouse. I'm streaming on my Clubhouse so they can hear this conversation too. So,
right.
Magneto, everybody helping me run the club. Y'all first found out that you guys were like, exonerated. The charges was out of there. Y'all beat the case. How did y'all feel of getting back to family? What was that like?
How could you explain that, man? You just got your life back. Like I told the prosecutor that day, when that door hit, that was the clerk knocking on that door, coming in with the verdict. I turned to her, I said, after 3 years, I get my life back.
For sure.
I said it one more time. I said, after 3 years, I said it louder. And she just turned around and got all,
Right.
It's like, and that's just my faith in God. I just knew that wasn't my destiny. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't what come out of something that was so wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So even getting into that, one of the things from the trial that was super big was your sister kept good bookkeeping on the you guys were spending. You know,
you better believe it.
How did that come into play? Like, man.
Important. Tina, shout out Tina, you know what I'm saying? I brought Tina, if you heard, she said she worked for me. Like she was like, I worked for Chris in the documentary. She mentioned she worked for me because we was partners with construction.
Right.
So let me give you a little backstory here. We was partners in construction. She was on the inside. She knew all the business side of construction business. And I learned all of the physical labor, how to build anything. And then we went from working for somebody to actually starting our own company. And that was really her expertise. So to move her from construction and bring her into music, music was easy compared to that. She's very, let's say, anal. She made sure everything was done, and then she went even further miles. Like one of the biggest parts of the trial is, again, they seen all these checks that I wrote, and then we had another accountant, Cynthia Carr, you know what I'm saying? Tina was also with Cynthia, and Cynthia would put on every check GA, which stood for Gambling is Anonymous. So that was like every time.
I got special for you. I got somebody special I want to bring inside the line. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I think you might know this brother.
Yo. I know that guy.
Yeah, what's good?
I'm chilling. How you?
Everything good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I ain't want to interrupt, man, what was going on. I was listening.
You never interrupt.
Almost forgot I was supposed to show my face on this piece.
Yeah.
So
you know what I mean? Okay, Benda, you got a few tricks up your sleeve, I see.
Oh, yeah. Around today, bro. So if you watch the Murder Inc. documentary, Irv Gotti was a DJ first, and the person that he was DJing for was Jazzo, that eventually to Jazzo. So Jazzo, talk, man. Share some stories, man. What you got?
I was going out. Y'all was clicking in and out, but I did hear you say about Irv being my DJ, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so, I mean, what happened with that was I just got an EMI deal.
Yep.
That was my first major deal, 1988. And I went to my man who was my present DJ, this cat, David Gregory, who we call Cool KG. And so I found him. I reached out to ask him. I was like, yo, man, I got this deal. I'm getting ready to go to London. Get ready to reach out to Jay, you know what I'm saying? And we could go out to London and record my album. And he was like, yo, when you coming back? And I was like, it's gonna be like 2 months. And he was like, yo, holler at me when you get back. So
Right.
I didn't, it kind of really hurt, but you want the best for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Well, most of us do. We want the best for our peers and for our close ones and our family. And so, I figured that it would be something good for him. It'd be lucrative. It's coming out of my bill. It's coming out of my deal and everything. So I thought it was it was cool, but he didn't want to go. And so I went to my management and I was like, well, I don't really need a DJ to go out there. And if I needed cuts or anything like that, I could reach out to somebody in London. But, I did rather have somebody with us, So the trip was myself, Jay-Z initially, and it was one of the cats on the management team, this guy named John. And so what's his name? Stan. So Stan Poses, which was the other partner in my management, he suggested Irv. And he was like, I'm gonna introduce you to this guy. He's a cool guy, he's young, this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, cool. And it so happened like we all hit it off. It's just an automatic vibe. The first day, we all started joking. Like everything was funny. You know what I'm saying? And that was basically the story of the whole trip in London. Like everything was funny. All we did was joke and record, And it was a delight, to have Irv, because he had this, of course he was young, so he had this very youthful spirit. And he and Jay got along particularly well, and which I like because I spent more time in the studio. They had more time to fuck around and shit,
Right.
so
Right.
it was, but it was cool. And
that's a great way to understand that for the people listening, because you had business to take care of.
Right.
Now listen,
and what's up?
That they brought up too in the first episode was when Irv first got his beat machine, he didn't really know how to use it. And he made a phone call. And that phone call was to you, like, use the beat machine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What happened was there was a communication lapse between himself and who now people know as DNY of the Rough Riders. They were contracting him to do some beats. And, Irv, he assumed, because I did at one time, I had an SP1200. Right. So he was like, yeah, I'd use the SP1200, so on and so forth. So they were like, all right, cool, we're going to get you an SP1200. So he calls me, and he was like, yo, you still got the SP1200, right? I was like, nah. I said, I got an MPC 60. And he was like, oh, shit, I told these cats I got to, that I use the SP1200. I was like, well, so we both agreed, that I would, just kind of tutor him real quick. Because, both of them are easy machines to learn. And I told him, the basics, so on and so forth. He came to the crib one time. And then there was then after that was, I think people remember like when he talked about in Drink Champs, when he was, he had something that he had to do and he got on the phone with me.
Right.
And, he asked me like, yo, how you do this? Yo, how you do that? Yo, how you do this? How you do that? And I just walked him through it. I don't want to poke my chest out for no shit like that. Like that shit that we supposed to do, regular shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm more appreciative of the fact that I was available, you know what I'm saying, when he needed me. Cause we all want our people to be available for us if we really need them. We don't want to need our people, but if we do, you know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing all around.
Well, listen, man, I just appreciate you for hopping in. You more than welcome to stay as long as you want. I told Chris, like, I'm pulling some tricks out of my ass.
Yeah. Pause.
Word.
I don't know where he at, but I think we can get him on.
Who?
Text Lloyd, see where he at.
Oh, Lloyd?
Yeah. So, I mean,
but let me finish that story. They was asking me to finish that story, but
go ahead.
Me and Jazz, we just spoke a little while ago, not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Jazz. He know that, and I told him whatever he do something for him, I'm right there with him. You know what I mean? And like he said, that's what we supposed to do with our brothers, man. Well, that's what it's all about.
Yes,
empowering,
indeed.
helping each other, uplifting each other. You know what I'm saying? All of these deaths that's going on, man. These crazy, these shootings, man. When we getting money, we got to figure this out better, people. For real, we got a chance to change everything, but we go backwards every time these things come out. But I was saying, my account wrote on every check, GA, which meant Gamblers Anonymous. So when the feds came and seen all of these records that we had, not only did we was able to tell them no, it was like that. We was able to prove it by the checks. They correlated to everything. Gamblers Anonymous, them checks that had that GA, which Cynthia had and Tina did together, and again my sister Tina, and then that again, without that, I don't know where we would stand. But I was keeping records of. I want to always know if I'm up or down. Right. In that moment, I was up big time. I shut down like 3 bookies. No, real rap. And I was betting for Irv, Ja, but they was really just saying, whatever you do, I'm going to do it with you. And they was putting their money up with me. But it was really me running it and doing it. And it was really in basketball. I was really tough in basketball. I had a system, you know what I'm saying, for each day. It was crazy, and it was really spot on. And I mean, I was killing it. And we was winning big bags of money. So when the feds asked about cash coming to the office, right, I said not only did the tour money come to the office, but my gambling, my bookie would fly in and bring me a bag and be like, here, like mad as hell. You know what I'm saying? He was in LA. He was one of the big, that's a fact. A lot of cash was coming through my office at a count machine. So they confiscated that. Like, what are you doing with a count machine? I'm like, I got to count a lot of money. The fuck? These
right.
These fingers get numb and shit.
Right.
It's numb from count money, but it's definitely coming. So look, this is a sidebar. This week, man, we lost PNB Rock, a dope artist.
PNB Rock to his family. My condolences to his family, man.
Rock, man.
Same.
That shit fucked me up, bro, because he was at a restaurant, right? You know what I'm saying? He was at a restaurant daytime, and I just want people to be safe. Like we did this interview, man. I appreciate the opportunity, Chris. I just want to say that. And even with the 50 shit, like I never got messy. I don't do the girly chatty patty shit. It's like that situation happened. I want to see everybody win and live. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this brother lost his life, man. So we got to. I was watching something with Mano. Shout out Mano. He did a nice little PSA announcement while he was in his car and he was doing a talk. And he said something about he would have never thought, like being in his business, that he would still have to worry about his life. And I always tell everybody what's the saddest part when I do my seminars and I talk about it is we had to risk our lives to make this money, to make this music for everyone to enjoy. We was literally out in these, that's the environment that it was back then. And still, it's a different environment today, but it's still very volatile. Now, I would say it was even more so before, because all these dudes from every hood, like music has grown so much in hip hop. When I say music, I'm talking hip hop has grown so much. It's everywhere now. So, but when we did it, when Jazz did it, he'll be the first to tell you, when he went to any city, it was with gangsters from that city that was him. It wasn't a promoter. It was the nigga that ran that city.
That's right.
And they was like, yeah, we want you. So now when you go into that city, they really took inventory. They know how much money they paying you. They seeing who you with. They know they put you up in the hotel. They picking you up in their little Honda Accords and shit like that. They don't have a car service for you. You getting picked up by they niggas. And they know exactly you don't have no guns with you. They know if you got security, if you got jewelry on, everything. So if they want to book you, they could book you. You really
Word.
stuck. See, that's the
Word.
environment I grew up in with this music shit. I would bring Irv and Ja to clubs and be outside with the hammer holding these niggas down, sitting on that pole, just making sure they come out safe. I wasn't partying. I made sure niggas was cool and safe. You know what I'm saying? Then I started getting more help, and then when Preem really helped out the most because he had all these relationships in all these different cities. So now I'll go over there. He said, yeah, link up, get a homeboy over there. He gonna make sure you good. So when we go to these places, everything was smooth. Now we definitely had resistance with people, you know what I'm saying, that wanted to get in. They just want in, but we risking our life just to make music, just to do a show. That's what we face in hip hop. See, you don't get that in no other genre of music.
Right.
And that's what hard about it. Like, we really had to risk our lives for every dollar we made for this music to bring it to the world. And that's all we was doing. When Mano said that, it resonated with me because, man, he was like, I never would have thought. I got off the block, that the block is still on my back, trying to, like, that might be the demise of me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And every word he said is real. It's like, yes, that's still the case. When it's like you never out of harm's way with these niggas, man. You got to move a certain way, and that's like kind of fucked up, because when I see all the deals that these white execs did in the same business we are, they don't go home worried about nothing. Right. They go through these shitty deals, fuck niggas over, rob them for all they money from a contract standpoint, right? And then they go home, they family and kids, and it's no pressure, no stress. But for us, it was always pressure and stress. You know what I'm saying? When you say you don't want no, look, we didn't want no problem with 50. That came because of him. Like, this is the problem with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But you insist, we will oblige, my nigga. No problem. You want it? I'll give it to you. Easy, simple. But that's not what we about. You know, we getting money and building. Like I tried to explain earlier, we was contracted for 4 records for 50 Cent that he paid out his budget. 200,000, 50 a track. We got the first half, 100,000. That lets people, if you understand that, that lets you know he really wanted to fuck with Murder Inc. He just didn't know how to do it. You know, another problem we have is like I'm gonna talk about me. My biggest problem when I got into the industry was, you go to these parties and everyone, these white execs, we ask you what do you do? And I would take that offensive. Like, what you mean? Get out my business. You know what I'm saying? But really, they trying to see how we can link together. So us as people, we never know how to link together. Right. And that's what they do. That's how they moved. I watched them and I'm looking at them, how they move. And I'm like, that's our problem. We never link.
Well, you know because everything, like even shout out to Emory. Like, my dude was in Chicago. Like, he got up with my homie Shot Town Shake. And it was funny because they was like in regular cars, you know what I'm saying? And they made sure he was good, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bone Squad, all my people in Chicago. That's true. You know, hip hop is definitely a dangerous sport, but I just feel like now we need to make it more a presence of like, yo, you can't text where you at in real time. It's like I'm doing a live. Nobody knows.
I hate, listen to me, Benda, I hate that. Like, why do I have to worry? See, it's like, if that mindset is gonna keep us in a bad position, because I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer. If we create or manifest what we fearing. You know, think about what a worry is. That's like praying for something bad to happen. That's what worry is. You understand? It's like you praying for it to happen. I don't live like that. I was just out last night in Brooklyn. Shout out Bruce. You know what I'm saying? He did a comedy event. I'm in Brooklyn in Canarsie. And everyone, as I'm leaving, telling me, be careful. I said, that never enters my mind. I'm always good. I'm blessed. And that's my mindset. I told niggas when I was on the block last night after I leave there, and they talking about be careful, be careful. I said, listen, when I put the gun down, the violence went away. You understand? Let that sink in. When I left the gun alone, all the violence went away. I carry that shit. Nigga, I'm looking for that smoke. And that's the problem.
That's a fact.
That's the reality. Hey, yo,
that's
Jazz,
a fact.
About Brooklyn, because see, I grew up in the era. Brooklyn was always heavy. I'm a Queens nigga. So we was always outnumbered. And if you go back, look when he said 88, he had his deal. In those, man, it was more this. It wasn't this. it was more, nigga, what's up? And we banged out with our fists more than, you know. Now,
Exactly.
if you had, you had juice. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But in the beginning, it was all about fighting. And nigga, we fought all day in Hollis. We would go to O'Connor Park in the boxing gym. All the Hollis crew niggas was boxing niggas. You know what I'm saying? So we had hands. At the end of the day, that's what we did. But Brooklyn always had more hands than us. So I would make, like, when I got to start knowing these new dudes from out there, right? It was different because you started seeing who was the live dudes. But the niggas that was really rapping and talking all that bullshit, it may have been this little weak nigga, but he had 100 niggas behind him.
Right, for sure.
That's a fact. And that gun on your hip. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
100 niggas with you, you got that hammer, you good.
I don't condone violence. I don't condone
and that's the problem.
But I will do. You know what I'm saying? Your ass, you will get met with the fucking force you're looking for. You know?
Yeah. And I will.
Dealing with.
What's that?
I was like,
what's that?
What we dealing with that mentality coming from projects and all. You mob up, and then it's all about where you from, and then you ready to enforce it.
What's up, Sparkles? So listen,
I can't say it bad because we did the same thing from Hollis. Like, you know, if you was from Marcy, you did the same thing. So it's like we get older and we understand it's not the same thing.
Right.
The youth is still in that same mindset. It's like we never evolved out of that problem, out of that situation.
Yeah. You know what I find though is that in order to move up or to a higher level of understanding, you know, and be an example for the younger generations, we gotta not saying everybody does, but in general there's a lot of judgment. And at the end of the day, you know, these kids, they don't come out the womb like that. You know what I'm saying? They had to be approached by certain circumstances, you know, their livelihood, the livelihood of their parents, you know, or whoever was their guardian, all of these different pieces. Let's not leave out the whole rap, like with rap music. You know, I call rap and hip hop two different things, but you know, look at the music. The music perpetuates this thing. You know, even what they see on television, you know, I don't even think there's a censorship board. Like, I mean, when we were growing up, you know, there was a censorship board and they were like, no, this program can't come on because the censorship board doesn't allow this and that and the other. I don't think there's any censorship anymore. So you got to look at what these kids are seeing, and let's not even go into social media. Social media, you can see anything. You can see a naked woman. You can see somebody get their head blown off.
But should there be regulations, like, you know, if we go back, what was her name? She was a big congressperson and she was trying to censor like NWA and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if we go to a movie and see it with Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of these, why can't we see it? Why can't we hear it from us? Like, it's just what it is. It's like, you know, we're products of our environment. I always tell everybody that, you know what I'm saying? The environment you grew up in. That's why with Murder Inc., they was mad because we knew Supreme. He's a Queens fucking icon from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, we knew of him, know him until after he finished really his run. So that's what they was like. Maxine Waters, that's her name, or Dolores, which one? It might have been. I think Maxine.
Okay.
I think it was one. They was big in that. Maxine or Dolores, they hit me in the comments. But at the end of the day, you know, we was a product of our environment. Like, he's from Queens. We're Queens. We made him, and just a relationship was built on some regular natural shit. It makes no sense that they're telling me I can't be friends with him because of his history. Frank Sinatra was around nothing but mobster gangster niggas, but they didn't bother that motherfucker, did they? You understand?
Facts.
No, let's keep it 100. I could go to JFK, nigga. The Kennedy, the president, was around all the mob niggas. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't say nothing. And they're not from the same environment. So why were you cool with that nigga? You didn't grow up with him. You didn't know nothing of him. You found out about him afterwards. It's a big difference. But see, it's never fair for them and us, man. It's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Double standard.
It's a whole double standard. That's what I said. We gotta fucking walk around worried about our lives where they get to go home and have a good time with their family and kids. And they
Word.
making a share of the money, them execs. You know what I'm saying? They stealing. And it's because it's looked at as that's the way it is, and that's all right. But you know, this shit ain't all right with me. You know what I'm saying? I'll never be all right with that shit.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Yo,
Right.
on that note, I gotta get these calls. My phone is going crazy. Y'all
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity for y'all to have me on
Yeah,
here.
man. Love you, bro.
We
I'm
all,
on.
we all fronting because we all gonna talk again this week.
Yeah.
I'm just nah, but you know, like real talk though, I appreciate it. And it's all love, man, and a great opportunity, man, to share thoughts with great
Man,
minds.
one more thing before you got off. I know Benda like all this fucking controversial shit. But you know what I'm saying? This ain't really controversy. This is to go back to something. If you got a few seconds, like another 2 minutes real quick.
Okay.
All right. So something that had came up, yo, Benda, something that came up like when Tupac was talking about like the Hawaiian Sophie, right? That moment in time, but people don't know. But people don't know this, Jazz. Like they don't know that the reason niggas was like that was because you and Jay was up for that role. You tell me if I'm wrong. For Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Okay.
People used to ask me, was I from Philly?
Yeah. And that's why they was in that Hawaiian Sophie look, because they was trying to get that role for the Fresh Prince. Now you could confirm or deny if I'm wrong, if I got the story wrong or not, but I believe that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it, because they really nudged me to do that as a single. That wasn't even my style of rhyming, but
Exactly.
I did have it, and it was something that I had done a long time ago. And the A&R at that time, his name is Scott Folks. It was on. You remember Scott?
Fact.
It was actually on a part of the demo that was played for him. It was something that I did live at Broadway International, and then I recorded it. So he asked me about it, and he really nudged me to make that a song. So I made it a song. Once I made it a song, he was like, you should make that the single, because you know it's friendly all across the board. It's like a novelty song, and I was against it in a way because you know I was on some street shit, you know, but I started doing more what they would call like pop rap, and I think in the long run it was okay, but I think from the start it kind of damaged my
Well,
my
I mean,
image, if
it
you
only
will.
if it was damaged, the damage came. But you know, one of the tell me if I'm right or wrong, is you never embraced it, right? Think of Biggie when he says I'm black, nasty, and ugly as ever. However, like he embraced how he looked. He understood.
Exactly.
And if you would have just came like back then, like, listen, this is cool. I'm trying to get money. Maybe it would have been a better turn of events for you if you said it was negative. Because I feel that's the reason I bring it up, because I felt you
Right.
never really embraced it or told the story of it. And when people hear the story, they're gonna understand, especially the time that we're in. It wasn't like it was all this. No, nigga, you got a deal. They really pushing shit on you.
Yeah, for the most part.
Not dealing with no brothers that you dealt with in the label. Yes or no? It was all white people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Scott
It's
Folks
their
was like the
mindset.
only he was the only person, and then promotions. Outside of that, the majority of the execs, besides like two people, they were all white.
Exactly.
And
But
that's no judgment against them, but based on, you know, their general understanding of what was to go on with hip hop music, it did
yeah,
have an effect.
and it was not a
Hmm.
top label, let's say EMI, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to get into the lane. So they're learning and figuring it out. They didn't have the leverage at radio. There was so many things, the factors that go into that era in that moment in time. You know what I mean? In order to be a successful rap artist in that era in time with the people you're dealing with. It wasn't easy, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted you to just just prove that out with me because I know that's a fact. Like I know that's a big deal probably in your career. You know, a
Yeah,
stain erased because it's not nothing you could have did any fucking way, and
Still
yeah.
pay no matter what.
And,
You
and
know?
and it all turns out.
yeah,
It
and
all
it all.
turns out there's a reason for everything.
You know what I'm saying? But Jazz, man, appreciate you, man. Good seeing you. Appreciate you jumping on too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you right back. Y'all see y'all. Talk to y'all soon, man.
Yeah.
100.
In a minute. Love, bro.
All right, one.
All right.
So let's see. We talked about you beating the once you beat the trial. Hold on, I got you, Jazz. Let me see.
Lloyd just
I
told me he's with his son for his birthday, man. He's like, I told you they all busy.
for
They
sure.
all busy, man. Every time I hit them for the time, we just haven't been in sync. You know what I mean?
No, it's good. Like I say,
Shout out, Lloyd. You know what I'm saying? We'll do one with him though. I'm gonna coordinate it right after this. I'm gonna just tell him give me a time he could do it, and we'll set it up and do it.
yeah, it's been so sporadic, but I think the spontaneous vibe is super great because what it is actually making it where people are just enjoying what we're doing. They're enjoying the conversation. The Drink Champs interview is like people had so many questions that didn't get answered from the documentary. So this shit is, you know what I'm saying? Like
For
I,
sure. And
Lord,
that's what we want to do. We want to set that record straight if there was any questions. So I keep telling them check in with you, get those questions up. We put this together is to get those backstories that may not be again in a 40-minute fucking show able to show you because we had 5 shows. You know what I'm saying? And we had 5 shows, and then which sounds like a lot, but we
not
really did a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So we couldn't compact it all in those 5 shows. So we did an incredible job again by Michael J. Payton, who was on with us before. He did an incredible job with the documentary, man.
when you guys beat the trial, it didn't kind of go back immediately to business as usual as the way Darcel wanted to see it. Irv was kind of gambling, doing some other things, taking a break. But
You
then,
know, the timeline gets put there when they put up Lloyd's #1 record, You. Okay, just realize that's 2007.
Okay,
We win the trial in 05.
2 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's how long it took. See, that's the hiatus. That's Universal saying we ain't fucking with these niggas no more. And it took all this time to actually get a deal back where they was like, fuck it. And when they gave the deal back, they did not support the deal. They just gave us the money, but they didn't support the deal the way they used to.
And speaking, so I was told that Leor from the doc, Leor offered you a deal, but then there was a $11 million deal on the table that you guys had to take.
Leo's whole career with Irv was we had to fight for anything. He would never just do the right thing. He would always underpay. He wanted to pay you less and say he's the reason you should fuck with him because he's better, which is all bullshit, right? At the end of the day, it was his way of always trying to keep Murder Inc. or Irv Gotti down, under his rule of thumb. And then that's the facts. Like, the reason you see Dame Dash fighting with Leo, the main reason is because of that exact mindset Leo always had. Shout out Dame, you know what I'm saying? And Dame always, he wouldn't take no shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out. I mean,
And they would say he's an asshole, but no, he's not. He was fighting for Jay-Z. He was fighting for Rockefeller and their rights that they should have.
and I think my personal opinion of Dame is I feel like, people don't know what's underneath those messages. So yeah, everybody want to fucking code switch when you're in corporate America, but you got to understand sometimes you're in these offices and this is just a different monster. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got to have that vibrato. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you don't have it, you're gonna get fucking taken advantage of. So I mean, it's a what to do.
Yeah.
So y'all missed the #1 record because
Yeah.
it's
And
the
again, So, you know, it was touched on, but it wasn't in detail. The reason that's such a big deal, we had hundreds of millions in audience because of the record being played all over the fucking country. And shout out Music Soul Child. We're not knocking Music Soul Child, but
Right.
he's an R&B record that wasn't a pop record that had, honestly, hundreds of millions less in audience. So how do we not get the #1 spot? See, that is a direct correlation. Back in that era, radio, direct correlation to how well you respond to first week sales.
First week
So
sales.
when we don't get it, we know Leo fuck with the numbers. That's why Irv said we lost by 2,000. Remember, we're all in the Warner Brothers system. They'll never admit that they could finagle numbers because that's like cheating, right? But that's exactly what they have the ability to do. They have ability to make things, right?
Right.
Appear better than it is because that's going to dictate the minds of everyone, right? It's the
Lloyd,
and they all
was a problem though, and it was a different sound too when that record came out. It wasn't.
And Lloyd, again, shout out Lloyd. He came out with that fucking monster, and yes, after he got the Lil Wayne on that record, and once Lil Wayne gets on that record, it goes up, and next you know, Irv, he got energy because he got something to work now. Right? He got a record to go work, and Irv does what he does, gets that record to be #1 in the country with Lloyd and everyone and Lil Wayne on it, with all his millions in audience, and we're dropping his album, and now it's perfect timing right off of the, you know, first thing back, not right off of, but the first music back after the trial, post-trial, after we win. And here we are, and we had all these things set up if we come with the #1 record. You know, that could have turned everything to a different result that you see today. Comes #2, no one wants to honor what we was talking about as far as all these different deals, these, you know, all of these like marketing campaigns we was gonna get because we came back off of a trial, federal trial, won, and then the #1 album in the country right off of that. They didn't want that to happen either. That gives Irv too much power.
I got a question from the audience. They said, do Ja Rule own his own masters? Does Ja Rule own his masters?
Ja Rule does not own his own masters, but Irv and Ja had a deal with each other. Ja doesn't own his masters, though, no.
Okay.
Again, you got to go back into that era. That wasn't even a thought. And that's the truth, right? I would never, you know, shout out Ja Rule. That was never a thought for even a lawyer for him to even ask for in that era. See, you can't mix times because it fits today. It doesn't fit then.
Right.
In time. You know what I'm saying? We could go to that era. Jay-Z didn't own his fucking masters in that time. Jay-Z got his masters back later because L.A. Reid gave it back to him. Okay? Right. So Universal had their piece, and then he bought it back. He didn't get it for free. He had to buy it. So when you want your masters back, no one's giving you hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars back to you. Like, oh, you know what? You deserve it. Here you go. They want a fucking check. It's business. It's like, but no one understands this. Like, if I put 1,000 people that say give them back in the same seat, and I guarantee they won't because of that business. Right? That means they're giving up that revenue that they're getting. Irv said it in the documentary. He said, I never took a 360. It wasn't really completely accurate either, because back then, at that moment, 360s wasn't relevant.
They didn't even have those.
About a 360 when that wasn't a thought from an owner yet, a label. It wasn't yet a thought. Do you understand? That's right. The difference. Like, so when Ashanti wants her match, at that moment then, today's it makes sense, but Irv is like, yo, he was supposed to simply explain it very easily. That's my record. I created it. Leo never went in the studio and made a. He owns all those masters. Why ain't anyone saying anything to him? See, Irv went in the studio and made the record, so he has ownership of the record because he made it. He's the producer and co-writer of the records.
Exactly.
Hey, hold on. Not one, everyone.
All of them.
You understand? So at the end, they just don't understand it. But that is really what the issue is. They don't understand the rules, the law, and then they don't understand when they say, "Oh, just even Charlemagne. Oh, I give it back half. Maybe you should give back half." Listen, homie, it's like, yo, Charlemagne, I put you in the same seat.
That was one of my questions.
If I put you in the same seat, Charlemagne, you will be like, "What? Get out of here." See, that's the problem. They looking at it from an unrealistic lens.
Yeah, well, let me break this down. So even Irv Gotti stated, right, the money that they make in touring and shows and all of these things that he don't get a fucking dime from. Like, so he don't get shit from. They keep. Right. They don't say, "Hey, Irv, I just made, $5-10 million. Here goes something for you."
No, never.
The thing that he can monetize is having the master, guys. So that's the way that he eats, and the other part of it is the way that they eat. So if that's the only way that he feeds his family, to give that back to them without getting any of the revenue that they receive is not fair to him. And I understand what he's saying. So I hope
listen, man, I understand it completely. I just don't think he ever explains it like I just did. He's more from an emotional standpoint because he feels disrespected, because he's like, he's like telling her, basically, he's telling Ashanti, like, what I did. This isn't like it's like it's not known. You know exactly the work I put in, and it's my work with you.
Right.
That's the only thing. If you want this part of that body of work back, here's the price tag. That's right. The only thing he could do is offer it to her from a price tag standpoint, and she could buy it back and own it. But other than that, it's very hard. It's a very hard situation. You know what I mean?
It's business. And I mean, I know we briefly touched on it the other week, but I would have definitely loved to see Irv come to when she got her start, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of that history, and it's like, damn, it's just fun. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I told you that on the other one. I really would have wished she would have did that. Like, they could have made peace. Like, I'm cool with her. Like, again, I just want her and Irv to be like, I like peace and harmony. I don't want to hear all of the negative shit. I get upset with Irv when I hear, like, what are you doing it for, nigga? Like, stop it already. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense to me. But like he said everyone asks him, but then when they ask, he gets too far in it. He doesn't keep it cool.
Right, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And that to me is his downside when it comes to that. You're the boss, homie. You are the nigga that did it all. You don't need to get and stoop down. You could talk from a different intellectual level.
Right, for sure.
Again, to make people understand, that's what I do. I'm not talking at the level they think it is because they're wrong. Right. So I got to elevate you and make you understand it in layman terms why it doesn't make sense. So it's very complex, simple. Like I said, I'll switch seats with anyone and see if they would give that revenue up when this is what it is. And the way it's structured, the way the deal's been structured. Like, I don't know, like I said, the only thing he could do is say, here, I'll sell you your masters back. Like I said, anyone that got their masters bought them.
Right.
Bought them masters. She didn't get them back freely, right? It's business. I own something that is generating X amount of money and you want it. Here you go, you just take it. That's not business. That's called, hey, that's a gift.
Not even, he produced the record, so it's a double. He produced the records and he's the executive guy. So like, up in a situation,
problem.
He works at the Breakfast Club. But imagine if he was Power 105.
Now you talking.
And then they say, now
how does Power make money?
Envy or give this to Ye.
How does Power make money? Power 105 makes money off of the ownership of that intellectual property, and then they sell ads to make the money.
Exactly.
Sponsorship, and that's where I make money. Now you get rid of that intellectual property that you own. How are you going to go get sponsors?
Facts.
He should go and ask for his masters back over there, because there's masters for that too. Right. And let's see what Power 105 says. After they invested millions of dollars to get you there, it's business. If I take $5 million, $10 million to make something go, then it gets going, and you're the person that's on that shit, and you want to say, hey, let me get that back. It's like, come on, how you asking me that back? That's why I put that money in. If that shit fails, I take the L.
They don't want no part of that L though. And I say that shit to people all
They
the time.
never do.
Like, oh,
Yes, John and Ashanti both own their own publishing. Irv does not own their pub. They have their own publishing deals and they get their pub. Irv owns the masters. It's a different part of a record. The publishing is one part, so it's not like they don't eat off of that record.
what's the relationship with Bimmy back in those days? I seen him in the scene in the doc and saying you guys never beat Feds. Huh?
You know, listen, me, I'm not gonna get into the conversation with Bimmy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever his joint is, I fuck with Bimmy. I fuck with his brother Joe. Bimmy was the dream team. You know what I'm saying? He's part of the dream team. You know, but you know, at the end of the day, there could be a little jealousy and envy inside of that shit. I'm not with all of that. I don't know what it is, so I'm not talking about. I fuck with Bimmy. When I see him, we talk. It's always love. His brother Joe's my nigga. I fuck with Joe. It's always love. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, I don't know what makes people say things when they say it. You have to ask Bimmy. Ask me about what I'm saying, and I'm gonna tell you why. But I don't know what the relationship is with Bimmy. Like, I didn't think there was a problem, but I have seen him say things that are negative or doesn't make sense. You know, why would he say we didn't beat the Feds? Maybe he's with 50 more so. Maybe. I don't know.
You know what? Like that I don't understand. So like I was just scrolling through my Ja Rule Murder Inc. catalog, getting ready for the day. And there's a record with Missy and Ja and Tweet on it. But it's like all of this violated management and Chris Lighty and Dave Lighty shit. It's like these entities were really fucking close.
Stop. You know, Irving, Chris Lighty was in the same office when they started their careers. Chris Lighty was Irv's man. Like, I fuck with Chris Lighty and all his brothers. But once he got to 50, everything flipped. You know? Once he got with 50, everything flipped. So that's why I said maybe Bimmy's with 50 doing things and he's fucking shit. You know, that's what people think they got to do. But the real ones that I know that was with 50 all came to me and was like, I'm like, get your money, niggas. Just keep it 100.
Right.
And it's cool. So you don't got to try and shit on someone because you with the nigga. That's what happened with Lighty. That's what happened with everyone over there. That's what they did. And I'm going to keep it a buck. They always like, it's cool afterwards, you know?
For sure. Yeah, because I never understood that because I really, it's like even with Jam Master Jay, Jam Master Jay name would come up and I think they say he had 50 and Ja at one time, right?
Not Ja. He had 50 and Black Child.
Black Child. Okay. But it's just like all of these close relationships.
50 Child was label mates through Jam Master Jay. 50 and Caddy was really tight from the hood. This is what, again, I can't make why he did it, but it worked for him.
Right.
Imagine if he didn't do it and he wasn't popping. So why would, if you look at it from that lens, that's how I push it in perspective. Like, it worked. It's all good. It's only music.
Exactly.
It's only music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it worked for him. And it got him where he's at. You know what I'm saying? I tell everyone, as big as he was, it was really a testament to how big Murder Inc. was at that very moment, because he basically, that pendulum swung from one side to the other, and he ended up inheriting all of that.
And I think about both. I think about Murder Inc. and I think about GUnit at the same time. So I actually think it's kind of good.
They're always synonymous. It'll always come down because it'll always be synonymous with each other.
So let's talk 2016. 2016, things took a different path. Irv actually got tails. You know what I'm saying? He was having meetings with people. And shout out to
Stephen Hill.
Stephen Hill, yeah. He had a great relationship with Irv. Irv said people were selling him, yeah, good meetings, whatever, but they never called him back.
You know what I'm surprised that didn't come up when that came up was Jay-Z. So the original meeting was Irv, Stephen Hill, and Jay-Z. And shout out Jay, shout out Hove, man, you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm surprised he didn't bring it up because Stephen Hill basically turned to Jay-Z in this meeting when Irv was talking about Tails. Irv was trying to get Tails a pilot, just a pilot, which is one show to show it's worth doing a TV show about. And he's talking to Stephen Hill, and Stephen Hill asked Jay, what should he do or what do you think about this thing? And Jay-Z told him, he told Stephen Hill, what you should do when you're dealing with Irv is give him what he wants and get out his fucking way. And that's what got Irv. And, you know, right after that, Stephen Hill said, I'm not going to do a pilot. I'm going to do eight shows. I'm going to buy 8 shows. Irv never did the show. He didn't even know it was a concept. But Jay's words, being Jay who he is, that shit went down. And Stephen Hill I give him a lot of credit because he seen the vision, and I believe Jay-Z's word just made it stronger.
That much impactful. Yeah, so Tell has been on, and it was actually coming on right after the Murder Inc. story on BET. So y'all make sure y'all tapping in with Tales, man. It's a lot of new
2 episodes now at a time right now on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock BT. You heard?
Yeah, no, that's great. A lot of new broke on Tales. I'm gonna use my relationships, guys. You never know who else might be on Tales, man. You might pull out that, you know what I'm saying? But nah, man, it was great that he got that. And then it's like, okay, Tales is going well. The artist broke away. Everybody wanted that walking paper, so to speak. And I mean, I can't say, though, a Murder Inc. artist to this day that Irv really got behind isn't still successful in doing music. Like Lloyd is on the Millennium Tour right now. Got the
you know, it's the weirdest thing, Benda. They all these years later, with no real hit records afterwards, they put out music. Maybe not, you know, Ja hasn't done much, but all the other ones, they all put out music, but they're not touring on that music. They're all touring from the music that was generated with us, with Murder Inc.
Exactly.
And that's making their money. So it's really, to me, I always say it's an unbelievable. When I look at it, when I go to a show, I'm damn near in awe of it, because it's like I see the audience get younger. You know, we're older and the younger audience is younger, which only lets me know that they're finding the music. They're listening, they like it. You know, we got all these samples from the newest artists today. From, you know, we got a sample with like Moneybagg Yo, shout out Moneybagg Yo,
Right,
the Baby. All of these niggas use Murder Inc. samples. Tory Lanez, they all use Murder Inc. samples, which lets you know that they fuck with Murder Inc. because they got that record and made a new version of it. So it's really cool to see that the legs are still there on this music. Timeless music, man.
Nah, man, it's amazing. Outside of that, then Iconoclast, am I saying it right?
Iconoclast, yes.
Deal with him on the masses. So how did that even come together?
To be completely honest, Irv had a person that handles his finance. Man, my names is going crazy right now. I know the guy from Iconoclast is Olivier, but it was a guy named that was in music that hooked him up with Olivier, a big name. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now. It'll come to me while we're talking.
And I got us
but he put Irv to Olivier, and then Irv brought his his financial people together, and they nurtured the deal and got it to where it was at. Zach Horowitz, thank you. Zach Horowitz.
It was bothering you, yeah. Man, Irv is relentless, man. And like I say, man, you guys have done a fucking amazing job of not only creating a label, lending your hand to bring in Jay-Z and Rockefeller and DMX and Rough Riders to Def Jam, but Murder Inc. and just still having successful artists after 30 fucking years. Like, you know, like you deserve all the flowers. You put up with a lot of bullshit. You still put a lot of
I wish we had,
you know what I'm saying?
I wish we had as much footage as we do today. Like how everything is, it's like so normal to have been filming everything. I wish we had it there. I don't even have my office. Man, our office was so iconic the way we had you know, the artists come draw on the walls, and just that vibe and energy when you walked into our office, it felt different. And you know, in the building, we was the first ones to lock our office up door to door because we was all in the Universal building, Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Murder Inc. And we all was on the 28th floor. Now, oval building, so we had a third of the floor. Rough Riders had a third. Rockefeller had a third. But we put doors up so people couldn't just walk through our mirror. You know, I take credit because I did all the design. Tax Crew from the Bronx, shout out Tax Crew, came and did all the artwork. If anyone from the Tax Crew has any pictures of all of that, please, I need it. I don't have it. I need it. You know, we had everything like from a graffiti, murals, the carpet was red and black on the floor. I mean, walls was black and red. I mean, it was just the vibe. You walk in and you felt that energy.
Right.
You know,
so when you so literally, okay, if you just come into the office to Murder Inc. at the Universal building, so you can see Hove going to the office or DMX going to the office just like that.
On the 28th floor. So we had, the reason we put doors up is everybody would come to the 28th floor. So, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where the hot spot is. All the hottest records at the time, they all would come to that 28th floor. And we was like, who are these people walking through our fucking offices? So we threw up fucking doors. I'm fuck out of here, yo. Hey, you know why? The music, intellectual property. I don't need you hearing my hot new records and then jacking me or things of that nature.
So where was the Crack House studio at? Where was that at?
It was downtown in Soho.
Also, so when that was just the office. Yeah,
that office. I'm telling you, it was like a. I mean, it was a vibe because there would be so many dudes there. You walk in there, you hear music playing from every office because we trying to get that music together. I had all the producers' music. I controlled all music, all the tapes. You know, the rails, to make sure no one was bootlegging our shit. I had all the dads, everything. And then I would be in there. So if any artists came, they always had to come to me because I had the music. Irv would have to ask me for the dats. Yo, where's that beat? Where's this beat? And I would give it to him. But I control all that music.
For sure. I mean, like I say, man, you not only executive, but big brother, man. I just think that it should be a, you know, extra residual payment, you know, Irv, some type of
thing. We actually got Colin Farrell. I think that's his name. He's not the big crazy one. There was another Colin. He was a smaller guy, but he was big too. He's a big actor. Okay. And he was on the 6th floor, and he used to come and party with us on the 5th floor. But we was partying every night, and it made him want to leave because it was too much. And he was like, "Yo!" And then when he was leaving, we took the 6th floor from him.
Only imagine, you know what I'm saying? I see Melissa Ford in the documentary. I see so many people showed up. I see Elliot Wilson showed up. I mean, fucking Jay-Z and Nas showed up.
You know, to Nas, Jay-Z and Nas doing the doc, to me, was so, it's what really solidified, especially Jay. Man, it was so important that he never mentioned this stuff in his whole career. That Irv was really instrumental in getting him started and doing all. You never heard this from this man. So for him to do it and say it and document it is really, man, shout out to Jay. Man.
I think that Hove did it when it counted it the most, though.
Yeah, he did it when it counted the most.
Fuck with him not mentioning it then. Not to say that it's good or bad, but when it needed, like, this is gonna live forever. You know what I'm saying? Documentary, these videos, these live streams, these Q&As, that shit gonna live forever, man. And it's big. And like, even at the end of the thing, you know, you kind of hear that end of the movie music where the nice soft shit is coming in. Jay is like, man, Irv speaks his truth. And he said it gets him in a lot of trouble, but he speaks his truth. And Nas and Pring, everybody said it's the gift and the curse. Everybody might say Irv says too much, but that energy and that brilliance is a part of the genius. And then really important, your homeboy Steve Stout. Steve Stout said, yo, I don't think that Murder Inc. was as big as Rockefeller or Rough Riders, but he said Irv's vision was bigger.
Yeah.
That's ill. That Irv's vision was bigger.
Yeah.
Tackle that, man. Talk about that, man. What's that statement? How does that make
That's
you
why he
feel?
called his company Visionary Ideas Now. That's it. Irv is a visionary, man. Again, he just works to get it done. It's like that's his talent. That's his gift. He's a visionary. He would come back when we was little. I could go back when we was young, and he would just play me shit, and he'd already have everything in his head there. Like he knew exactly what he wanted to do with this record. Whether it happened or not, it doesn't matter. That's what people don't get. But that vision, it starts with that vision. You got to understand where you're taking something, or else you're just walking around like a zombie. Irv always had tunnel vision and tunnel focus on what he wanted to do. And like I said, whether it worked or not was never the issue. He was never afraid to lose, and it's that mindset. You know what I'm saying? And then that'll never leave. That'll never leave us. That's just how we are. So Irv was always that, and still is. Like he's getting back up and coming, no matter what.
So my team on Clubhouse just streaming for me. Whatever question y'all send me as a text, drop it in the comments here, right? Because if I go out, it's going to take me out of the conversation. So I would love to ask Chris whatever the question is, but I can't see it. So drop it in the comments here. I know he only has a few minutes left. I'm not really sure what we're looking like on time. We
Yeah.
brought you to introduce Irv Gotti to Jay-Z. So I just wanted to do that. Jazz is one of my clients. We've been working, Brooklyn legend. I'm gonna get this conversation taught me a lot about business, just about being in front of the camera for hours, staying on task, doing the fucking research, and it's not gonna end right here. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I'm
They
a bit.
keep, they asked about the Declaration album with Ashanti. What do you want to know about it? I'm not sure what they want to know.
All right, y'all tighten that question up, cause I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm seeing different things like it says here, what's next to expect from Chris Gotti?
Yeah,
Chris
Tito, yeah. Shout out him. That's
Danny
my
Jake, what up, boy? That's the world champ right there. That's my man. Brownsville, never ran, never will. Next we're going on a tour with Adventure Music and Clash TV. If you don't have that Clash TV app, you need to go get it. We live stream all these different events. Dope is for the creators. I'm always trying to empower people and teach them how to actually make money from what they do. So the creators make money and the user can make money with Clash TV. We just finished Summer Ball. We're about to live stream all my events. You know what I'm saying? That we go on tour with. So all of the live streams from the touring, from the seminars, the meet and greets, you'll be able to get it and see and hear everything on Clash TV.
That's super dope. Even the digital streaming, digital distribution company, Adventures, and a lot of I want to tap you in with a lot of my people at Clubhouse. I know we had the conversation about joining, so not necessarily getting over there, but a lot of the tech shit that I learned a lot from Magneto. I learned a lot from this dude named The Connect. Shout out DD. Shout out my dog Duce. And it's about learning, man. Like you have a team. I've met one of the guys that run your social. You got Dex, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that people see how many people it takes to run all of these fucking companies, like the manpower you have.
Yeah, man, it's a lot. And again, we just don't stop. And then you may not have all the resources to do it. It's business. You just can't take all your money and spend it.
Mm-hmm.
When understanding how it's coming back, you'll be broke. So it's all business. We have to move incrementally, just like anybody else, and add on accordingly as we get to each level. I have a vision on how I want to create my businesses today. You know what I'm saying? And that vision is about everyone being part of a company, owning that company, not just working for that company. And
Right.
that's how all my businesses, everyone that's with Adventures is an equity partner of Adventures with me. You have to earn it. I'm not just giving away equity, but I need people of that same mindset that you eat what you kill. So if you bring it in, you're going to have a piece of that business for you. That's your revenue stream. It's not mine. It's ours. We're going to make money together. And I allow you to build out all parts of this business with me.
No, I got one question that did come in through the Instagram channel. So, I mean, we kind of talked about this in all over the place. Like the conversation got shifted because I brought a guest in. But they said, do you think Let me just double check this shit. Do you think Supreme or 50 caused the fail of Murder Inc?
I don't want to call it a fail of Murder Inc. See, that means we didn't do something right. We did everything right.
So,
If you documentary, you understand we didn't do nothing wrong. Universal cooperated with the feds against us. So our machine that you have to have at that time to move that engine and that to move that, you know, that vehicle, which is murder, was gone. So how could I win? See, if you understand that part, then you would never say Murder Inc. failed. That's something that Irv always stands on. He said the last album I did went platinum. That's not a failure in this game. So where's the failure at? We stopped. Irv quit because he realized there was no more support, and we can't win with the team that they wasn't supporting our music no more. So we stopped. Put it in a different perspective. So how could I say Murder Inc. failed? Murder Inc. fails if we took a Javu album, Murder Inc., put it out, and it breaks. It doesn't sell anything. That never happened. Ashanti album, Murder Inc. takes an Ashanti album, put it out, and it doesn't work. We'll never know that. Now will we? That's how you fail. So you can't, and that's something Irv especially holds his head on. Like he stands on that. He's like, anything I put out was platinum or better. So from an album standpoint, that's what he's talking about. When you talk about singles, we could throw out 10 singles because that's what's leading up to the album to make the money back then in that era. See, the game changed today. So it's a different business model. But the business model that we was in, it was about getting those singles going and then drop an album. And when we dropped that album, Irv's lowest album was $1 million plus.
Wow.
So, you know, that in perspective with anybody in this industry, and I guarantee he's one of one. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, people like to hate or whatever they say. I'm just putting it in a perspective that puts you understanding of where he's at and what he accomplished and what we did from a label standpoint.
No, for sure. I mean, that kind of like wraps up the questions I have. Make sure y'all all following Benda World. Make sure y'all following Chris Gotti. I had an opportunity to help artists get their music heard by 2 million listeners on Chris's station. We did digital distribution deal. I mean, it was just a great time. Like I said, I know he had some other meetings today. I'm glad we brought Jazz in. We're not going to make this the last interview. It just won't be about the documentary. We're just going to chop it up.
It could be still with a documentary if you get questions or if people still have questions. I'm not afraid of running from it. And then again, we do Adventure Music, which is a platform that empowers independent artists. So I want to always pump that because that is what I'm doing today. You know, we got thousands of artists on there and we get their music out. But really, it's about education. Don't let these other platforms fool you trying to act like they're going to do that now. I've been doing it way before they even started and they didn't want to do it. But they know that is now the only way to really kill this space is to teach the independent artists how and what to do. So now they're going to talk about it. You know, there's nothing you could do when you start spilling your shit and then people start taking it, if you understand.
I mean, knowledge. C-Map, I appreciate you grabbing the badges. I mean, yo, it's undisputable, but like I say, knowledge, man. I do so much research, and I think that that's what people don't see, right? They didn't really understand what the masses or what part of the earnings that Irv doesn't take any proceed from. You know, people don't understand it. So I think that I would never speak out of a place of ignorance. I'm going to ask, why don't lay heads or whatever want to release the masses? And we got to stop speaking out of ignorance. I mean?
Yes. No, that's real. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not about us, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all following us. I appreciate everybody that did sponsorship with us. I took this opportunity, like me and Chris was going to have a conversation. Like, you know, just take an initiative. Me and Chris was going to have this conversation. Anyway, I called Chris and paid him money. I said, hey, Chris, I got some sponsors. Did I not? I called you like, it's like you got to take the opportunity and maximize it. So I think that Murder Inc. maximized the fucking opportunity. Irv Gotti was making $60,000 at Def Jam to become one of the biggest motherfucking producers in history and have a fucking documentary, a 5-part documentary where Jay-Z and everybody shows up and get a testimony to who this man is and what him and Chris built and all of the artists. So that's just powerful, man. And I'm just in work mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm not chilling. I'm turned up. I'm just, y'all need to be afraid of what the fuck I'm going to do next. You never know.
Yeah, you said, yeah, that's a line. That's a line. I heard that line before.
What the fuck I'm going to do next, man.
But, you know, at the end of the day, man, this has been real good, you know, helpful people to understand. You know, someone just asked me about Kwasim. I'm like, Kwa's family. I just was on the phone with him earlier. He's like, why wasn't he mentioned? Kwa's part in Murder Inc. wasn't a part in Murder Inc. All he did was he knew Garfield and Smitty in the park.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When Irv started DJing, I went to Kwasim, that's my man, and I didn't know, I knew who they were, but I didn't know them. You know what I'm saying? And I got Irv on the tables. I went to Kwa. He's like, yo, he better be good. I said, yeah, he's good. Talking about my brother. And I told Irv, you got to kill that shit. And Irv killed that shit. And then after that, the park was Irv's. But Kwasim's my man to this day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know what people want. You know what I'm saying? They ask that question. I'm like, what more do you want? Like, Irv could have said it. It wasn't a question asked to me. If it was, I would have said it. I never not said it. I always said it. Kwasim got Irv on the park. No, but that's so minute in the scope of what we talking about. You know what I mean?
I got questions like that from people. I'm like, listen, don't ask me that shit. Ask.
Yeah, but you know what the reality is? Like, how do you can't? I can't tell every story because it's not really there. Like Kwa went to jail for a long time, came home. He's home now. You know what I mean? Kwasim, that's my nigga. Like, that's family. Like, at the end of the day, he wasn't around when we running around. When he was locked up, how about this? Backstories. He's locked up. He was about to put his hands on Prince. Preem to this day thanks me for that. Prince is Preem's nephew. It was gonna go down. Now Prince ain't no punk.
Right.
But Quaz really like that. And all I did, listen to me. I told him don't fuck with Prince. And on the strength of my word, he didn't. And then the next time he called me, he had Prince on the phone with him. And I let him and Preem talk and everything. Preem was emotional and thanked me for that shit.
Right.
You know, some real G shit because it could have went left.
Right.
And
that's what I'm a
big deal. You know, Qua, like I said, that nigga do his thing. He do his thing. So at the end of the day, that was a big deal. And Preem was like very happy about that. And I let Qua know when he was inside, because he was like, you really fucking with these niggas or not? Right. I said, I'm really fucking with this nigga. Like, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's his nephew. Don't fucking do that.
Right.
Niggas need to link up, not you know what I'm saying?
Right, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I forget. I think that was in Beaumont, Texas in the phase at the time when that call came in. But you know, when I talk that shit, like nigga, I'm talking real shit. Like that was a real moment in time for niggas, for real.
And see, Chris, right. Question. Like if I ask him a question, he gonna answer the question. So I mean,
I don't duck shit because there's nothing to duck. I love my life.
Exactly.
Hey, who I am. I love my life. You hear me? So it's like, for me, it's not about ducking. What am I ducking? You know, if I made a mistake, it's cool. I'm cool with that mistake. You know what I'm saying? It's part of why I'm who I am then. That's how I learned from. See, people have a problem admitting that flaw. That's even with Jazz when I was on. I told Jazz that's why he never cleared that up. But I believe if he would have did it, it would have helped him. You know what I'm saying? Tell that story. Just like that's why I said with Biggie, yeah, I'm black nasty as ever, you know, ugly as ever. But however, I keep it Gucci down to the socks, rings, and watch, nigga. He's letting you know, I'm cool with being fucked up, nigga. I know who I am. Right. Not what you gonna say. And so, that's what Jazz should have took that approach.
Speaking of Biggie, man, who your top 5 artists, man? Top.
That's hard.
Huh?
That's hard. The game ain't over. How could it be a top 5?
Who? I'm just like
run down. I'm gonna run down my
gotta be rapper artists, top 5 artists.
Okay, how are we judging top 5? Okay, we got to go by numbers, right? Whoever's posting up numbers.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to be very contradictory right now because I said that. That's why I said it. Okay,
Who
so
you got?
In my top 5, I got Hov. I got Jay-Z, number 1.
Okay. Jay in my list. Let's.
You know what I'm saying? Now these other numbers, I don't really have an order.
All right.
Like when people ask me, I'm set. It's Hov. He's the best, number 1.
Right.
And it comes from his numbers that he posted, the movement of the culture, the whole thing. So you know, white people might want to tell me about Eminem.
Right. For sure.
Eminem didn't move my culture.
Right.
The topics he talked about, I never cared about. Was he witty and smart? I don't bump his music. Was he witty and smart? Absolutely. The nigga's a creative motherfucker. Don't get it fucked up. But I'll never give him this culture.
Okay.
And what I'm talking about, if you want to be the best in this culture, you have to move this culture.
Right.
He had white boys that was part of this culture, but they don't move the needle, if you understand. So in my opinion, I just can't give him. But is he a top rapper? Yeah, the nigga's nice. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta throw Nas up there. You gotta throw fucking
Jay.
I have Jay already.
All right.
I have Jay already. You gotta throw Nas in there. You gotta throw Tupac for sure. Tupac might be my number 2 because he's the most felt.
Okay.
Artist ever. Period.
Jay, Nas, Pac. All right.
Those are, and then you know you got the newer artists that you have to consider.
Right.
A Drake, niggas could say whatever they want. That fucking Canadian is a problem.
Drake is the nigga.
You know what I'm saying? You got a Lil Wayne, problem.
Right.
That's why I said, and then I hate this call because it's all barbershop talk anyway.
It got to be a top 10. It can't even be 5. 5 ain't even fucking.
And we're growing. You know, if I go back, do I put in a LL? See, I always go by body of work. If I'm a baseball player, it's test the time. Basketball player, test the time at a level that's what makes you the best ever. That's what making you the GOAT.
Right, for sure.
When they Michael Jordan, this nigga did his thing, went away, came back, did it again. Like his numbers is, again, you could sit there and talk about LeBron. I'm not knocking LeBron. His numbers is absolutely GOAT worthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it gets to be opinion. Mike got more wins from the championship. And then they say, oh, if you was only championships, I don't even put Russell and Wilt into the top because the competition level was different.
Right.
You know, could they have done it today? Wilt? No. Russell, I think, might have still been able to do everything today. But he wouldn't have won 11, that's for sure.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know, what they say with Wilt, he was playing against electricians and barbers and shit. Electricians and plumbers, that's what he said. He was electricians and plumbers. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to their numbers posted, right?
Right.
It's very difficult and again, same with today, like who's putting up the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
That's over the test of time. That's why you cannot eliminate Drake, because now he's hitting fucking all-time numbers, and then they'll say, oh, he didn't write all this shit.
In every fucking category.
Right? They'll say he didn't write all this shit. I'm gonna go on the limb and say he can write whatever the fuck he wants, whenever he
Right.
Today is more about money and business, so he heard a record, took it, and made the money. I don't see a problem with that from a lyric standpoint. He's a battle rapping type nigga. He could go that route. He could make fucking all types of records.
And hits, though. Fuck.
And hits. That's what you got to make hits. See, you got to make hits because it's got
who could do a battle with you?
Because let's take someone else, right? Let's take a Jadakiss, for instance. And let's say they just couldn't market and promote him the way he needed to be marketed and promoted to make those big records. Or he just didn't make the hooks that go along with those incredible lyrics that was part of it. You know, Kanye West, right? No one talks about him because of he had stories about people wrote his music and things like that.
Man, Kanye the fucking best. I'm arguing with anybody about Kanye. I'm taking all the smoke on that.
What do
Kanye,
you say? He's not, or he is?
he is. Listen,
All
bro.
right, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
This
no,
is what
he
I'm
is.
trying to say. Creatively, where he took culture and everything that has a value in this business, in opinion. And like Jay said it in one of his songs. That's why I said he's right. He said it like no one moved pop culture and with more hits than in anybody. I have to be number one on everybody's list. That's what I felt when he said that. I felt that. And I was like, that's why.
Made 3 millionaires, and Kanye is one of them.
Well, I don't even count that part, right? But he said that in this
Right.
next round. But look what year we're in. We're in 2022, and he's got a line in the songs that niggas is going crazy for still. He said something about retirement. He said, I'm not thinking about retirement because he said, what I do is for the people.
Right.
And I'm giving something to the people. And that's something that when he said that touched me really, because I always say that about Ja Rule.
Right.
So he never got to finish his career, and that's what he gave the people. All these great records, he never peaked. He never got his pinnacle yet. And it got cut short and fucking tainted because of Universal and 50 and the combination of both. And the Feds. Do not say that without the Feds. All of that made him not peak to me. And as great as the music he made, he was going to make even better music, and we didn't get it. Imagine if we didn't get all the R. Kelly shit. Imagine if we don't get fucking Michael Jackson shit. Imagine if we don't get fucking Marvin Gaye shit. Like, think about what I'm saying, and that's what is what to me moves this culture. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's big.
That's huge. And I'm like, we didn't get a chance to finish. That's what artists give the world.
Right.
That's what they give humanity. See, and that's so important to me because music changes people's moods, lives, everything, just song. So we didn't get the best out of him. Most people, when they hear that records that put it on me, they know exactly where they was right away. It brings them right to that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what music is all about. It puts him in a different mood, a different feeling, and we didn't get the best from him because of all these different things that happened. And to me, that's the saddest part because Ja Rule is absolutely a musical genius. He's one of one, again, and walked through it with nothing but style and grace, period.
No, that's a fact, man. I can't.
But I can't name, like, there's so many people that is questionable inside the list. That's why, how do I eliminate them? I don't know. Like if I go back in the day, like I said, with Rakim, LL, you know what I'm saying? These niggas was monsters. But again, I could sit there with Biggie and say, you don't have enough body of work to be looked at as the great. Big Pun can never be a great, in my opinion, because he didn't have the body of work. It's not our fault he passed before his time, right?
But see, then that's up for argument, though, because, like, a lot of people...
How do you judge greatness? That's why I asked that first. How do you judge greatness? If it's not a body of work, then it's not up for argument because they don't have the body of work. If you put body of work as the greatest, you can't have one fucking album to be the greatest, yo.
Nah, I get that.
I got two. I'm going to argue that Biggie. That's why I put Pac over Biggie every time because his body work.
But it don't make Pac better than Biggie just because the nigga had more albums. Now, that's not what the fuck we going to do.
Pac is the most, he has a lot of bad records. See, I'm going to keep it 100. He has a lot of bad records, in my opinion, that weren't great, but his amount of records that and what he's did for the culture, it's like that's the balancing act, right? That's how you do it.
You know what's special? Even with y'all catalog, like I said, I really went through that shit last night. It was so many records that were, y'all listen. I was putting a rescheduled video up, and I was trying to pick a song. Y'all had so many songs that was good, I couldn't pick it. And it's like, oh, Ja didn't reach his peak. But nigga, when I'm going through the records, it's like Always on Time, Put It On Me, J-Lo, What's Love Got to Do, fucking Finale with DMX. You can't holla. You can't fucking find a record in that, bro. Even though it's not a lot, it's enough.
Listen to me. Ja's definitely in one of my greatest artists ever. Like, period. It's just like I said, how do you pick? And the reason I gave Hov that spot and didn't question it. And look, you know who's on his ass, in my opinion, is Drake, right?
Drake's on everybody's ass.
But he hasn't influenced pop culture as much as Jay.
Khaled want the Drake vocals. Jay Prince, I want the Drake. You know, I know a couple people over there, man. You never know. You never know, man. God say you gotta ask for it, Chris.
Yeah, I got you. But like I said, I give Jay the spot. It's not, and it's in great hands. Like, I could argue anybody for Jay-Z. Anybody, top to bottom, every song. Like, I could argue it with anyone. We could compare his body of work with anyone, and I'm gonna put him over him because not only did he make the hits, he also has pop culture. No one moved pop culture more than Jay-Z.
Facts. All right.
You know, I know Kanye West wants that title. Kanye wants that title, and he might catch him because of all his influence in fashion, but you know, he also has a
matter if he's from Jay's tree. Like if Kanye beats Jay, it's good.
You saying the master can't get outbeat?
No, it's like Wayne and Drake. What the fuck?
You know, on tour, Wayne versus Drake, that was a great concept, man.
I love that shit. I loved it. Fat Joe just got a new deal too to do these speaking things, and I'm like, man, ho, like they looking over me, man. I'm gonna have to talk to Puff. I'm gonna have to talk to everybody, man. Get me on this interview.
He got a lot of followers, bro.
Man, fuck that. I'm the new young nigga. I'm on Joe's ass. I'm on everybody's ass.
Was Joe? That's
Listen,
all. It's numbers. It's a numbers game. He didn't get it because it's a numbers game.
But no, Fat Joe tells great stories. But I think, as a young nigga, right? As a young nigga, Chris, y'all gotta let new niggas in. But I'm not waiting on y'all to let me in. Like, I'm not waiting on somebody to give me a podcast. I'm not waiting on this shit. Like, I'm just telling you. Cause you know what? You don't want to see the person that's in a spot. Like, we didn't have to drag Michael Jordan off the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming. It's like, even with artists, like Lil' Kim, I love Lil' Kim, but we had to have a Nicki Minaj. We had to have a Cardi B. We had to have a...
Evolution. It's evolution. Out with the old, in with the new. It's what has to happen. It's the circle of life.
So I'm just telling you, these niggas better watch it.
Any OG is supposed to understand that.
I'm coming. I'm just telling niggas, like, I'm coming. So y'all might as well work with me now. I'm coming. Oh, that's it.
Get up.
Got nothing else like that. That's it. You got anything else you want to leave the people with?
Nah, Adventure Music, Clash TV, giving them the business. Go support. You know you're going to catch the real for me every time. You know what I'm saying? We'll be on a tour very soon. We'll be posting the tour. If you're an independent artist, you sign up on Adventure Music and come perform. There'll be a lot of different things, special things. We'll be live streaming everything on Clash TV. Get that app. I mean, it's going to go up. It's going to be crazy.
And I've been getting calls, man, from people, too, that ask about working with Chris. Like, just don't call me with that bullshit, y'all. Don't call me for free. That happens. Don't call me asking me, like, don't call me asking me no stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest because I'm not that.
What are they trying to work with me for? On what?
But I'm just saying, like, people call me and ask me crazy shit. Like, y'all see I had a relationship. I want to see people. Look, one of your, I don't know. He said he know you. Somebody hit me up yesterday, and he was like, yo, man, I got an artist or whatever. So I say, like, yo, you want some promotion? You want some promotion during our conversation?
Tell him sign up, man.
So listen, this is what the nigga told me. He said, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't never share the knowledge, man. If you're in a position to help somebody, you should help. And I sent them back one sentence. I said, bro, this is how I eat. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me how to.
All I do is look at all the information and knowledge I just gave out. You got a free game. Niggas ain't paid, just watching. Following and watching, and you got it.
Want to get paid? People don't respect that. Like, bro, they didn't hand you an Irv nothing.
No,
you guys,
not at all. But you know what, Benda, I ain't gonna lie to you, Nick. I don't live in that mindset, right?
That's already, Chris. I'm not rich yet.
Nah, but I understand.
I'm not rich yet.
But my whole life I always gave back. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that's part of my blessing. So I always gave back. When someone asks me something, I do it. I was just with an artist yesterday in Brooklyn. And she, you know, independent artist, she tell me she with another distribution company, DistroKid. Right. I said, it's all good. We all do distribution the same, but you'll never talk to that CEO like you talking to me. You'll never get that opportunity. You'll never get a real person to even respond to you. You get auto responses. I said, all my people get real responses from my staff that are qualified to respond to you. I said, and then because I do that, you might get answered a little bit later because I'm not automated. I can automate it, but the response is generic. It doesn't fit you. You understand?
Sure.
It not answer your question. You may need to go a little deeper in your question. And that's what we do. But at the end of the day, I was explaining and I said, there ain't no company educating but me. And now I just seen fucking Steve Stout and his company talking about they want to educate because they watching me. Hey, I'm dead serious. They know what's up. There's only one way. I got the idea. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. There's a reason he wanted me to run fucking his company. You understand? So they know they come to me because they want this. But I said, you know, you can't imitate the reality, man. And that's the reality. Like, Steve Stout will never get out on the fucking road like me. So I'm not worried about him.
It's not
if that's
partner, Steve.
Listen to me, if he was to do that, I would be like, oh, fuck. But he doesn't want to deal with all these artists at the bottom. He only wants the biggest artists. He does parties that his artists on his platform can't even go to. I was just offered to do an event at Art Basel.
Right.
With Adventure Music. And I turned it down. You know why? Because my artists, my people ain't there.
They can't.
My people ain't at Art Basel. They don't got the money to be there, nothing. So I'm not doing that. And they was like, oh, the brand was like, we're going to put up this much money. I walk away from the brand because I know it doesn't help my people. Right. The people I'm really trying to empower and help, it has no effect on them. You know, so I won't do it. And I just was at another activation with this other company. Right. Again, and I'm like, there are people that's on that platform can't even come in this event. So why is it good? So they can put up Instagram pictures and shit like that? Fuck out of here. I'm not with that.
Shout out Skitter's Cat. No, Chris, I mean, you're a real one. Everybody won't do that. But listen, I just want to close it down, man. We in a good place. You know what I'm saying? I feel good about the last. And it's love, man. We'll be back at y'all soon, man. Bendaworld. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Adventures, Murder Inc.
I'll be out west next time we get up.
We gonna figure this out. I got you.
All right, my man. Ben, thank you.
Love, bro.